my name is Moon-hee Lee, and today I'm going to talk about respiration signal-based two-layer stress recognition across nonverbal and verbal situations. The overview is as follows. Stress can be explained by the autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system is largely divided into the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system can be prompt in an angry or stressful situation, and it affects a person's physiological responses such as heart rate, skin conductance, and respiratory rate. The parasympathetic nervous system makes our body relaxed. The sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system can be in a healthy state when they are properly in harmony with each other. However, most of the daily lives of people living in modern society are a series of stress. Therefore, the balance of the autonomic nervous system will be broken, and various health problems such as hypertension, cardiovascular diseases, and depression can occur. So, we have the prompt and proper management of mental stress before the repetitions of both acute and chronic stress are required. Conventional stress recognition studies utilize the correlation between physiological response and stress through the state-of-the-art wearable devices to build a stress recognition model using artificial intelligence and machine learning technology. And they have shown good recognition accuracy with their experimental data collected from the relaxers and the stressors. To collect the physiological response for stressor, several studies use trial social stress test. TSST is known to be effective as a stress-inducing experimental step, which is designed to exploit the vulnerability of the stress response to socially evaluative situations. In this situation, the participant is stressed during verbal periods. However, most of the conventional studies have utilized just nonverbal relaxers, such as watching a soothing video to compare with verbal stressors. As shown in figure, conventional stress recognition studies have utilized both nonverbal and verbal stressors, such as an arithmetic problem solving and an interview respectively. During a verbal stressor, a participant can become stressed while speaking. Since verbal behavior is known to affect various physiological signals, both being under stress and speaking state can change the physiological patterns of the participant. In respiration particularly, verbal behavior is known to affect respiration signals. Accordingly, it is unclear which state introduces a severely noise pattern in respiration signals, either or both of the stress and the speaking. However, previous works have not properly differentiated the changes due to being stressed with the ones introduced by verbal behavior. Therefore, for accurate stress recognition, it is important to differentiate the respiratory pattern changes introduced by being under stress with the ones caused by the verbal state. In this paper, we propose a two-layer stress recognition method which classifies the presence of verbal situations in the first layer and then recognizes stress state within each situation in the second layer. For the demonstration, we collect 75 subjects under designed laboratory experiments. In the result, we achieve up to 84% binary stress recognition accuracy. Before we move on, I'd like to clearly note our proposed model. VR is verbal state recognition model, and VSR is stress recognition model for nonverbal data, and VSR is for verbal data. Feature VR, feature NVSR, and feature VSR are important feature sets for VR NVSR and VSR model respectively. Indeed, previous work suggests these problems. In the three papers on the screen, they have primarily used the TSST as an effective stressor which includes both verbal and stress states. And the author said that the accuracy was significantly higher when using TSST than other stress-induced experiments, and this is likely because of the unique signature of verbal state in respiration patterns. In other words, their models could have learned to detect the differences of collected signals between nonverbal and verbal states rather than those between non-stress and stress states. Several researchers have investigated the stress recognition models under verbal situations by using audio signals. Ohowever, audio signal-based stress recognition methods with microphones incur several disadvantages such as microphone occlusion, recording the audio signals of anyone nearby, and privacy concern. Rather than audio signals, respiration signals under stressful situations can overcome these drawbacks. Therefore, we estimate respiration signals by detecting torso expansion and contraction while breathing through a sensor device worn on the chest. We designed the stress-induced scenario by adding the verbal relaxer stage to compare with verbal stressors. This shows our laboratory experimental scenario. First of all, we inform every details of our experiments and get the consent from participants. We use soothing video watching to relax participants at the beginning and end of the whole scenario. We adopt free talking in mother tongue and interview in non-mother tongue, that is English, as counterparts of each other. Talking in non-mother tongue is known to induce stress. In addition, we exploit a cognitive stressor, that is crossing out alphabet E's in the documents whose readability is extremely bad. We recruit 100 healthy participants whose ages range from 20 to 39. However, we can collect the respiration data of 75 participants out of 100 mainly because of the device malfunction in our experiment. Our experimental scenario was approved by IRB. In order to improve the stress recognition accuracy across nonverbal and verbal situations, we proposed the two-layer stress recognition model. As shown in figure, our method consists of four steps such as data processing, feature extraction, feature analysis and selection, and two-layer stress recognition. First off, we extract 9 time domain basic features. There exist two types of features in time domain, such as the duration and the amplitude. Also, we extract 4 frequency domain-based features. In total, we utilized 57 time domain and 4 frequency domain features as summarized in screen. It is not always true that the more number of data features, the higher accuracy in machine learning-based approaches. Indeed, our preliminary experiments demonstrate that stress recognition with just a partial set of total 61 features achieves the comparable accuracy for each independent state. Accordingly, we determine the features of those partial sets which are important to recognize each state. To observe how respiration signals change in each state and select the best set of features, we compare the feature values under each state. By including the verbal relaxer in our experimental scenario, we can compare which trends appear within 4 situations: non-verbal relaxer, non-verbal stressor, verbal relaxer, and verbal stressor. Analysis of variance is performed within these 4 independent situations. Graph shows that feature values in the nonverbal stressor are closer to those in the nonverbal relaxer rather than those in the verbal stressor. Further, those in the verbal relaxer are closer to those in the verbal stressor rather than those in the nonverbal relaxer. Certainly, verbal difference is larger than stress 1 in the feature analysis. Thus, it should be effective to classify nonverbal and verbal states first before recognizing the stress states. Since respiration features represent different ranges of values for 4 states, we decided to select effective features. We first prioritized features using the chi-square test. We compute chi-square between each feature and class. Then this score is used to prioritize features with the highest value. At the first layer, the verbal state recognition model called VR, as shown in figure, classifies the data into nonverbal and verbal. And we can observe that inspiration duration, ratio of inspiration to expiration duration, and magnitude difference of features are ranked the highest. At the second layer, we have two stress recognition models, such as one within nonverbal state called NVSR and the other within verbal state called VSR. Interestingly, we can observe that amplitude features are considered important in the NVSR model, while the duration features are considered important in the VSR model. Then based on prioritized features, we do feature selection for each model. In our 4 stages, non-stress and stress can occur within nonverbal and verbal states. Thus, in order to accommodate the dependence of stress state and verbal state, we exploit the two-way nested design analysis of variance, where factor stress is nested within factor verbal using statistical package for the social sciences. Table shows feature sets, feature VR, feature NVSR, and feature VSR that have statistically significant differences in each state. We use these sets to train and test VR and VSR and VSR classifiers. Our main idea in the model is to introduce separate classifications. The model classifies nonverbal and verbal states before classifying non-stress and stress. As shown in figure, two-layer stress recognition model consists of 3 classifiers such as verbal state recognition, stress recognition within the nonverbal, and stress recognition within the verbal. To build the model, we need to do labeling in each sample consisting of a feature set selected in previous feature selection step. At the first layer, each label is assigned by the intended purpose of the experimental state to train the VR model. At the second layer, the window is labeled as non-stress or stress class to train the NVSR and VSR models. These labels are based on self-report scores, which are evaluated from participants according to how much they get stressed, ranging from 1 to 5 scores. Each questionnaire score from the entire participant self-report is averaged. Using the collected data, we train and test the model. The sample size has been equalized to prevent problems due to unbalanced sample size, such that it is more likely to classify new observations to the majority class. Thus, we select randomly subsamples. Then, the number of windows in non-stress and in stress class are 50% respectively. We present the recognition results with 4 machine learning algorithms. Using those algorithms, We design and test both conventional and our proposed stress recognition models with tenfold cross-validation. Further, we evaluate the recognition result in terms of accuracy, precision, recall, and false positive rate. To validate the effectiveness of our approach across nonverbal and verbal situations, we compare the conventional one-layer model with our proposed two-layer model in terms of accuracy. Note that the conventional one-layer model does not consider the verbal state. We test these two models in nonverbal situations, verbal situations, and mixed situations. We use suitable data in each stage collected from our experiment. The nonverbal situations consist of the nonverbal relaxer and the nonverbal stressor. In figure, proposed two-layer stress recognition model demonstrates higher accuracy than a conventional one-layer in nonverbal situation. We can achieve 3% higher accuracy on average than the conventional one-layer model. And SVM is able to improve the accuracy by up to 6%. The verbal situations consist of the verbal relaxer and the verbal stressor. In figure, we can achieve 6% higher accuracy on average than the conventional one-layer model in verbal situation. And AdaBoost is able to improve the accuracy by up to 11%. Also, as shown in graph, we can achieve 5% higher accuracy on average than the conventional one-layer model across non-verbal and verbal situations. And SVM is able to improve the accuracy by up to 8%. Also, our results demonstrate that stress recognition with just a partial set of total 61 features achieves the comparable accuracy compared to using total feature set. To show the effectiveness of our two-layered stress classification, we evaluate precision, recall, and false positive rate as well as accuracy as shown in table. Our two-layer recognition method improves both precision and recall in all machine learning algorithms. Precision and recall are improved by up to 9% and 11% respectively in our method as compared to those of the conventional method. Thus, our proposed two-layer model not only returns more accurate results, but also has a majority of all positive results. High precision value relates to a low false positive rate, implying the small number of wrong predictive windows. By improving precision values, we obtain the improved false positive rate. Among 4 machine learning algorithms, our two-layer model with SVM is able to improve the false positive rate by up to 11% as compared to a conventional model. To enhance our model, we combine and evaluate all possible machine learning algorithms, which are 64 combinations where 4 algorithms for VR, 4 for NVSR, and 4 for VSR are applied. Finally, we have reached random forest for VR in the first layer and SVM for both MVSR and VSR in the second layer to obtain the highest accuracy of 84%. As compared to the best accuracy of conventional one-layer method with random forest, our proposed two-layer stress recognition model achieves 8% higher accuracy. Now, I conclude this talk. Since previous stress recognition studies did not consider the changes due to being stressed with the ones introduced by verbal behavior, we design a new method to recognize stress across non-verbal and verbal situations. In the results, we achieve up to 84% recognition accuracy by using our proposed model. As future works, we will conduct another laboratory experiment which collect not only verbal periods data, but various situations data such as physical activity. Further, we are planning a long-term field study. Thank you for listening.